If you're tired of the standard business and marketing fundamentals, frameworks, and funnels, you need a little mischief. Get ready to turn up the volume on the CEO Mischief Maker podcast, where you access conversations with seasoned business owners who have smashed through mindset barriers, innovated the standard boring business and marketing playbooks, and executed future-paced strategies with bleeding-edge tools and tactics to micro-fail their way into massive success and growth. We are Mindset Impact Strategic Catalysts helping innovative entrepreneurs focus. We are CEO Mischief Makers. Ready to make a little mischief? Welcome to Friday. Friday is one of my favorite days. I love getting into the details. I love all three of these sessions that we get to have in these conversations, but Friday is when the meat. We get to actually dive into things that we can actually use. So first off, welcome back to the conversation, Kathryn Hite. Hey there, Kathryn. Here we go.
Thank you. I'm so excited for this.
Okay. So you dropped some crazy, amazing stuff over the last two episodes. And we ended the last episode with you talking about this whole concierge idea. And I want to kind of dive into that a little bit because I know you use that as a way to help people really power through whatever difficulties they're having. So let's just back up from that a minute. We'll get to that. Don't worry, we'll get to it. But let's back up from that a minute and start with some strategies. So when a new agency owner comes into your mastermind, what is the initial overall strategy that you use to understand, first off, what they need to create success, and then get them the tools to create that success? So start with strategy for me.
Yeah, we've actually changed this up a little bit recently. So I'm excited to talk about this. We just started doing our agency intensive. So we just did a beta. And what we wanted to do was to see, okay, like people that are joining us, in terms of master hackers, for the longest time has been people that we knew, like just peers in the industry. And what I've loved about the agency intensives that we've done or that we did recently is that we get to answer all the questions when it comes to tactics and get to know them in a deeper level even before. We used to do that, when they had to join Master Hackers and when they joined like on the first week. And the way that we do this is we go through this sort of like interview process. So I'm very big on really digging where the obstacles are and the truth of everything, because I think as visionaries, we often see the bigger picture and we lack to see what's happening right now. That could be the obstacle that's not allowing me to get to the bigger picture, right? And so anytime that I'm doing an interview, and it's cool to have somebody else also that's dissecting your thoughts, found that this is very beneficial for the agency owner as well as for me, right? Like I want to get to know you in a deep level. And so this interview process allows us to understand where they're at, where they want to be, what are some sort of like use that discernment that we spoke about in a few in the previous episodes, and like understand really what is really the goal for you. Some people say, my goal is to get $1 million. Is that really going to bring you happiness? Like even to that level, I want to understand what is really what's going to allow you to have a fulfilled life, right? And so sometimes we just like say that number because it's what's hot out there. Everybody wants to get $1 million. This is one of the only industries that is so focused on getting to a revenue number more than, the legacy, more than impacting, more than what I'm actually doing for my clients. We all care about it, of course, but I think we have to be honest, like that is really the topic that's out there, right? And so I really love to understand that, because then it's not me prescribing something that I think would be good for you. It's something that I know that will make a change and impact in your business. And so after that, we use concierge, which is, we're going to talk a lot about this more, but we use that to keep you accountable. At the end of the day, you don't need somebody to be meeting with you every day. Maybe you do. It depends on what your need is, right? And so depending on that, we sort of like establish like your own personalized plan and see, hey, right now your focus should be doing, sales, for example. So let's meet once a week and let's see where you're at. And I think by showing up to those sessions and having to say, oh, I didn't do my best this week, it's going to push you to the next level. Some people, it's just like, hey, let's work together on this release this rollout. I'm going to help you as like your additional resource project manager and just help your team through that. So it's very different depending on the business. And that's what I love about getting to know the agency owners and what they're after and coming up with this personal plans together.
Wow. So the strategy in the beginning, what I hear you saying is really informational about
Yeah.
this particular agency and agency owner. What are your goals? What is it you're working toward beyond just the monthly revenue? And
Yeah.
feeding paying your employees, and feeding your family and paying your bills, because we all have to do that, but that's not really what gets us, hopefully, that's not what gets us out of bed. What gets us out of bed is a little bit of a higher purpose than just paying our bills. Most of us want to do way more
Correct.
than that. So,
Correct.
okay, so I get that. And so then the concierge. So let's talk a little bit about that. So you probably have particular areas, and you kind of mentioned a few of those areas in the last conversation when you talked about, in the beginning they need tactics, and then maybe
Yeah.
relationships or connections, and then really purpose. So,
Yeah.
let's talk about the tactics. So once you do this
Yeah.
application, once you kind of do this interview style,
Yeah.
and you determine, let's say someone, whatever they might need, they need leads, they need to add a few services or take away a few services, or
Mhm.
what's the next step? How do you, I mean, because people probably come into your mastermind from very different levels of their agency,
Yeah.
some just starting, some seasoned. So they're going to
Yeah.
all need different things. So when the concierge comes in, do you have a person or a plan for every possible situation that an agency might need?
Yeah, so that's I think the intriguing part of this when people come in is like, really, how are you gonna like help me? And if we think about those three steps that we were talking about, my goal would be for everybody to be focused on connection and purpose. I think those are like really where our, like mine and we should be focusing on and where we should be living at. And so my goal with the interview through concierge is that we give you all the tactics, the knowledge, the input, the SOPs that you need to get to the next level. I love that you mentioned, like let's think of an example of like adding a new service. We actually just experienced that with a recent master hacker that joined actually yesterday, on Monday. Yeah. So yesterday, yeah, we're just like right now, but yesterday, yeah, when we're recording this. And the cool thing about it was that he through the interview, he realized that, oh, wait, like I'm just like SEO is just 2% of my whole portfolio. And SEO, as we were like digging, through his numbers, was like the thing that was like giving him the most revenue and the longer lifetime value. Right. And so like, and he was something that he was just like leaving on the table. And so this time, like what we realized is like, oh, what if we offer that? If we continue to like create an actual service for that instead of just like reactively selling it. And so the goal right now that we have as a strategy for him is, oh, we're giving him all of the knowledge that we have in terms of like how do we get trained, how do you sell it, how do you like present it. And so like he's literally working on that this week. We just had our first session and he's like super excited about it, and we're gonna see, the goal would be like in 3 months as he's like starting to like pitch on this even more, what are the results. And so I think like it's something that you have to like see, just like your business, right? You have to like test something out, put it out there, see how it goes, tweak it a little bit. And like you're in a constant flow of creativity and work and just like playing with like different aspects of your business to make sure that you achieve the goals. And I think that's how we like to look at our program too. We like to see, okay, here's where you're at. This are some of the stuff that we want to test out and work together with. And let's test it out. Let's see how this goes. And by using data and measuring it, that's when you see, okay, this is successful or not. Instead of just like giving them, go and implement this, let's evaluate. Let's see, okay, in this quarter, with enough time and obviously discipline and consistency and the work, did we get the data and the numbers where we wanted them to be?
Wow. So, wow. Okay. Because I have an agency, I get it
Yeah.
completely. And I'm
Yeah.
much more niched. I am a
Yeah.
complete niche agency. I'm
Yeah.
not a general agency. So if I came to you and I specifically do this niche service that I offer, specifically conversational marketing, everything around conversations, then you would be able to help analyze and ask me questions around my business and where I want to go with my business, and then be able to connect me. Here's where the connection and purpose comes in. You start with
Mm-hmm.
the end goal in mind. I love this
Yeah.
because that's what you're
Yeah.
doing. You're starting with the end goal. What's your purpose? What do you want out of life? And
Yeah.
then you basically help people build the road to get there.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
the most important road, I agree with you, is connection. It's our
Mm-hmm.
relationships. I agree 100%. You started our conversation on Monday about that and talking
Yeah.
about relationships and the mindset of that whole abundance and openness. And now we're ending it with that same concept.
Mm-hmm.
Relationships are it. So you have people within your agency, and I'm sure outside of it, that you are connected with. I've been to your summit, and
Yeah.
yeah, you've got lots of connections. I was like, oh my gosh, where did these people come from? These
Yeah.
incredibly successful people. And so how do you strategically then connect people with the right relationship that will help them get to the next level?
Yeah, so I think it's a matter of like really knowing those goals. And so something that we do is, let's say that I have, actually this also happened this week. We have one of our members, not everybody's like the most active member, which even though I'm like, I start getting onto them, but not everybody is. This member is actually one of those that won't go to the masterminds. She's just like super busy. But every once in a while, there is, an emergency, something that happens that he knows he can count on us. And so like he honestly, like it's one of those emergencies that last time he like saved like $40,000 just on something that we were able to help him with. How much is that, in terms of like the membership, right? So like he's
Yeah.
like a lifelong member. He's like actually one of our OGs. This time it was actually for one of his events. So he was having trouble finding sponsors. And so we just jump on a call, JC and I, during the weekend. We're just like, he was really wanting to work on that. And so like literally we started messaging, people that we know that would be amazing sponsors for them, that would create a win-win situation. And he's like literally talking to 2 people this week out of like the 7 people that we referred, and he's probably going to get those sponsorships. And so I think it depends really on the person and the need. And I'm not, someone to say that, oh, I have an answer for everything. But because we enjoy being connected with people, and this is the type of stuff that we'd love to do, I can at least point you to like, like 1 degree closer to the right person that you could be in conversations with. And so that's just like one tiny but very essential part of being a business owner, just being connected with others. You never know what's going to save you time or add, in this case, revenue to your event because you're actually getting a sponsorship.
Wow, that's amazing. Yes. All right. So, is there any last piece of advice that you would give anyone listening to help them with the strategy and the tactics that they might need to just get over that next hurdle that they have, and really find some breathing room? Really, that's what I look at each time we kind of jump a hurdle. It's like, okay, I got that. That's done. I don't have to deal with that anymore. Now let's go to the next thing. Any last piece of advice for the people listening?
For me, it has been just being honest, with where I'm at and where I want to be too. I think a lot of people, when we're in interactions, we focus too much on where we want to be and not the reality of our moment today. And the beauty about having deep conversations and honest conversations, first off, is like stop wasting time and just interactions about something that is not really who you are, or, like it might be like something like a goal that you have. And I think when we allow ourselves to be open to letting go of, I don't have all the answers, and I'm open to learn from others and to be also a source of change for others, I think that just creates a different flow of energy in our lives, and it allows us to be open to new things. And so I would just advise on people to be honest about where you're at, having intentional conversations with people, and like giving more than what you're taking, and then you'll receive in return.
Okay, hold on. If your mindset was shifted, you were inspired to innovate, and you were spurred into action, don't just move on with your day. Focus, my friend, and take a few minutes to visit CEOmischiefmaker.com to learn more about the value that was shared with you today. Please act now and create some CEO mischief of your own.